My goodness gracious. How's everybody doing? I didn't set up a prep, but we'll talk our way through it. Why not? So today is First Timothy, and because I honestly don't want to risk forgetting to check the microphone. We got good volume. So it's First Timothy 2. We start at 7 and we go through chapter 3, verse 3 on my dad's old King James Bible. And we're also going to set it up in the New Living Translation. And can't forget to make sure we click NLT. And lastly, we're going to set up our Revelation study. I believe we are getting into 15 now, if not mistaken. But do we start at, I don't think we finished, we did finish 14. So it's 15 starting at verse 1 through, and I circled, oh, wow. Yeah. So we do the entire chapter, verses 1 through 8. That actually is the column, legitimately. All right. So just to get an overview, we'll go in the watered down New Living Translation version. And we'll pick it back up in the King James, especially if something isn't right, or unless it's just too easy, we might just neglect it. And I have been chosen. Of course, we're all chosen. Good, bad, happy, sad. No matter what side we're going to be on, God has ordained the end from the beginning. And I have been chosen as a preacher and apostle to teach the Gentiles this message about faith and truth. I'm not exaggerating, just telling the truth. In every place of worship, I want men to pray with holy hands lifted up to God, free from anger and controversy, depending on what country you're from, LOL. And I want women to be modest in their appearance. They should wear decent and appropriate clothing and not draw attention to themselves by the way they fix their hair, by wearing gold or pearls or expensive clothes. For women who claim to be devoted to God should make themselves attractive by good things they do. Women should learn quietly and submissively. I do not let women teach men or have authority over them. Folks, in the literal sense, that's if both are sheep. If the woman's a sheep and the man's a lost sheep or goat, or if she's in the truth and he's not, then spiritually she has absolute authority. Okay. She can't go, well, my husband wants to celebrate Christmas, so I guess I have to. No, absolutely not. Let them listen quietly, for God made Adam first and afterward made Eve. And it was not Adam who was deceived by Satan. The woman was deceived, and sin was the result. That's why, Hollywood made the movie all about Eve. But women will be saved through childbearing, assuming they continue to live in the faith, which that's what it's all about, being called by the Lord. Faith comes by hearing Jesus. We've been over that a billion times. Just ask if it's your first time. Love, holiness, and modesty. Continue to live in faith, love, holiness, and modesty. This is a trustworthy saying. If someone aspires to be a leader in the church, he desires to be in an honorable position. So church leaders must be a man whose life is above reproach. He must be faithful to his wife. He must exercise self-control, live wisely, and have a good reputation. He must enjoy having guests in his home, and he must be able to teach. He must not be a heavy drinker or violent, but must be gentle, not quarrelsome, and not love money. So all of that in the watered down version. I don't think we have a problem with anything that was said. Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. Let's talk about learning the truth, folks, to her husband, which would also be in truth. All things being equal, everything in context. A bishop must be blameless, the husband of one wife, diligent, sober, good behavior, given to hospitality, apt to teach, not given to wine, nor striker, nor greedy, nor filthy liquor, but patient, not brawler, not covetous, semicolon. So basically, end of sentence. But that is the end of the verse. And what happened to Revelation? I guess I hit the wrong button, didn't I? So Revelation was 15, 1 through 8. We remember that. Let's get on with it. And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having 7 last plagues. For in them is filled up with the wrath of God. And I saw as it were a sea mingled with glass with fire, a sea of glass mingled with fire. And them that had gotten victory over the beast and over his image and over his mark, remember the mark is spiritual, over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of God. And they sing the song of Moses, the servant of God, and the song of the Lamb, saying, great and marvelous are thy works, Lord God Almighty, just and true are thy ways, thou King of saints. So great tribulation's over, about to get into God's wrath. Again, those that this is John's vision again. And this is God's climax. So those that went through the great tribulation received this high esteem honor, even though they might have been sheep for a matter of minutes. Because it all happens at the abomination of desolation. And right then all the goats are entered and they're going to have superpowers. They're going to start slaughtering sheep rapidly. And you can't say like, well, gee, I did Bible studies for 10 years and didn't fornicate and lived a repentant life. How come they get the same reward, but they're only sheep for minutes or hours? Or 3.5 days at the most? Go back to the parable where, hey, you agree to this wage for a full day's work? So absolutely. And those that only ended up working an hour, because he kept employing them throughout the day, but for the same amount of wage. But those that agreed, they saw that they were receiving the same reward for only working an hour, and they worked all day, and it's the same price, and they got upset, and the Lord said, oh, hang on a second. Or the employer said, remember, this is a parable. Oh, didn't we agree on what you would make? So, yeah, that's what that's about. And they sing the song of Moses, the servant of God, and the song of the Lamb, saying, great and marvelous are thy works, Lord God Almighty, just and true are thy ways, thou King of saints. Who shall not fear thee, O Lord, and glorify thy name? For thou art holy. For all the nations shall come and worship before thee, for thy judgments are made manifest. That is at judgment. And after that I looked, and behold, the temple of the tabernacle of the testimony in heaven was open, and the 7 angels came out of the temple, having the 7 plagues. This is trumpet, vial, or bowl judgments is what it's called. 7's number for cleansing. The earth is about to be cleansed. And the 7 angels came out of the temple, having the 7, remember the church divided into 7, because the church gets cleansed. The end times church, which will come out of every world religion, including fake Christianity, same percentage out of every one of those world religions, guarantee it. And the 7 angels came out of the temple, having the 7 plagues, clothed in pure white linen, and having their breast girded with golden girdles. And one of the 4 beasts gave unto the 7 angels 7 golden vials, full of the wrath of God, who liveth forever and ever. And the temple was filled with the smoke of the glory of God and from his power, and no man was able to enter into the temple till the 7 plagues of the 7 angels were fulfilled. I'm glad you're here. I love you very much. Ask questions anytime. That's what I'm here for.